Yeah, well, schizophrenia is a mental health disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really bad one. It can get really bad unless you take a medication.
Okay.
So it means that you hear voices or you
Uh,
experience like isolation, or you kind of go a bit crazy, with panic, with pressure, with stress. Um, you experience like an outer kind of body sensation, like disorientation as well.
okay.
There's quite a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
disorders within the one disorder, which is quite bad.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ImpleBooks podcast, and we have with us Grace Grossman. So, yeah, how are you, Grace? How are you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. A bit tired, but it's a Monday morning.
Okay, so I thought that people who do used to do like yoga, they're never tired or something like that.
No, well, I actually didn't do it this morning, so maybe that's the reason why.
Okay,
But
so you do skip, right?
yeah, of course.
I thought that like whenever I'm like building some new habits, I used to feel a lot guilty. I would say whenever I used to skip things. So do you feel like that sometime?
Yeah, of course. You do feel a guilt, especially when you just skip it and you had the intention to do it, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
we shouldn't make ourselves feel guilty.
So, Grace, the thing that I want to ask you that recently your book has been released. So, how do you feel? So, like, whenever a book is like released, there should be some feeling that okay, now it's the time that okay, my book is like released. So, is there any special feeling for that, or is just a normal thing?
No, I wouldn't say it's a normal thing. I would say it's
Uh,
very much a really a good feeling of accomplishment and
mm-hmm.
of, yeah, being courageous in this time of, bringing something out that will help people. So the feeling is very elated. It's not just a normal feeling, I would say.
I saw people that whenever they're writing any book, they basically do what like they have some goals that okay, I will be writing that this much words every day, and the book will be like completed. Do you have this kind of goals while writing this kind of in the book?
Yeah, I did. With my
So,
current book, I've not really planned it out so well.
uh-huh.
But with this book that I published, I planned it out so I would write so many words every month, complete a chapter every month,
Mm-hmm.
and then I set myself the limit so that I would finish it in a year. So I wrote it in a year and then like had another year to edit it.
Okay. So how many pages? How many words you used to write like every day?
How many words did I used to write? I'd say like 500 maybe. Setting
Okay.
myself about 500, yeah.
So
Because
yeah.
the book is like 60,000, I think.
Okay. Wow. That's because I saw that it's like almost 230 pages around, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it's quite a big book. That's why it
Mm.
took it about a year to write.
Yeah. So you talked a lot about like, initially when I read your book, like there was a lot of things about like pressure. So you use this term a lot when I have started reading this book. Even you yourself asked this question that how many times did I use the word pressure? So I was like, oh, okay, now author is here
Yeah.
like
I thought
asking
I'd
us
say
as well.
it because, it's
So,
it's
mhm.
yeah.
So do you think that everyone is like in this world have some kind of pressure, or do you think that is there a way to like maintain different kind of pressure, or is it good to have like pressure in our life?
Yeah, I guess that's what my first chapter covers, how
Mm-hmm.
pressure can be good at times, but most of the time it isn't so good because
Mm-hmm.
we're pressured by outside forces as well as inside forces, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe we're the worst people at pressuring ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, don't you think that it's sometimes good to have a different kind of pressure in us to accomplish something, or do you think we should not pressurize ourselves for that?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's good to have a pressure, you're right, about
Mm-hmm.
completing things and about like keeping in harmony with yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
most of the time I don't think it's good because it like causes a lot of stress,
Mm-hmm.
for me at least.
Okay. So, do you think yoga helps in this case, like to maintain this kind of balance? I heard that a lot of people say this thing that yoga is something that can help you heal as well as like mentally and physically as well. So, do you think is there any benefit of that?
Yeah, yoga is a great tool to help you heal, especially with the pressure. Um at times when you feel like you're out of control of it, it brings you back into knowing that you're in control of your body and your mind. So that's why it's really good, and I think I should probably sort of listen to my own advice a bit more.
So when did you, started, doing yoga?
I started back in 2016.
Okay.
So yeah, when I was in university, I started the yoga society with my friend,
Mm-hmm.
and from there on, I just kind of did it every day.
Okay, so from there you have started, and I saw your pictures on Instagram that you have been into India as well. So is it after that or before that?
Yeah, no, it was after that went to India because it was like after the whole starting up a society and teaching that I really wanted to get trained properly. So I decided to come to India.
Okay. So,
So do you like India?
I loved India. I
uh,
love the people, the culture. Everyone is so open and so friendly. You really feel like you're belonging there, no matter who you are. That's how I felt anyway. I was very welcomed.
so
So
where
where
did you
did you
live
live
there?
there?
Well, I was in Rishikesh and then I was in
Yeah.
Dubai and in
Uh-huh.
Delhi.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got to travel quite a bit around. It was really nice.
So one thing I want to ask, because that really catches my eye when I was like skimming through the book, I would say, of yours. That's the thing that you are very true to yourself when you are you are writing you have writing this book. So I just quite like this. You said that you had like things like that onset schizophrenia. Can you please tell us that what this thing is actually?
Yeah, so yeah, I thought I would be as truthful as I could because I've not been
Mm-hmm.
very well recently. I've been in a mental clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really like tough time. And it was like, yeah, experiencing a lot of panic and disorder in my life,
Mm-hmm.
where it makes you experience a lot of stress and a lot of turmoil. Um, in different ways. So, yeah, that's kind of why I was being truthful about it because I thought from this place on, I'm just very honest in how I write anyway. So, I thought it would be a good way to begin.
So, would you like to say something about this? Like, what's this thing is like in specifically? Like, if someone has no idea what's this onset schizophrenia is.
Yeah, well, schizophrenia is a mental health disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really bad one. It can get really bad unless you take a medication. So it means that you hear voices or you
Uh-huh.
experience like isolation, or you kind of go a bit crazy, with panic, with pressure, with stress. um, you experience like an outer kind of body sensation, like disorientation as well.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
disorders within the one disorder, which is quite bad.
So yeah, let's switch this topic to something else. So yeah, I
You know,
because it was getting like intense. So yeah, so
I just want
Yes.
to know that.
okay, I just want to know that how do you get any any kind of situation where you are feeling like overwhelmed? So suppose in our day to day life we face a lot of different kind of things. People has different kind of pressure, I would say, or maybe responsibilities to tackle with. So do you think is there any way to like be in peace with that, or just keep working?
Yeah, no, there are ways, and we shouldn't have to just feel panicked and overwhelmed all the time. I think that's what kind of the problem is these days, isn't it? That we're just very panicked and
Mm,
stressed, including myself as well, you know? So it's like about taking that time to just sit back and like deal with your emotions and see them. And that's like where in my book I was saying about every emotion and how we can deal with it, how we can have a better handle on it instead of society handling our emotions for us, you know?
Yeah, society. So what do you mean by like society handling?
uh,
Like, you know how society handles us by like advertisement and marketing. They want us to buy all the time. They want us to invest in our lives,
mm,
but through money, but not invest in our lives through maybe our emotions as much, you know?
Yeah, so that really happens because a lot of social media, especially, I would like to say that they show this kind of targeted ads to their audience.
that okay,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
You have no control over it. They basically shows you depending upon whatever you're doing. They have like shadow profile of you that if you're doing something, you might be liking this product. So they're just showing this to you without, even if you don't understand that. Okay, whatever your purchase habit is, sometimes they are driven by the social media or maybe the society. Yeah, that's correct. Even I was guilty for something like that as well. I would say because I had purchased a lot of things, just by looking at the social media feed. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean everyone is guilty of it, don't worry.
yeah, I think it's a case with everyone, like, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So,
Grace, I
I
just
just
want to
want to
know
know
that
that
do you
do you
think
think
that
that
sometime
sometime
whenever you are like having
having
this
this
kind of
kind of
negative
negative
thinking
thinking
about
about
something
something
that
that
okay,
okay,
like you have this
have this
thinking
thinking
like
like
okay,
okay,
our
our
social
social
media
media
is
is
hampering
hampering
us,
us,
the
the
ads
ads
that we are
that we are
seeing
seeing
like
like
hampering
hampering
us,
us,
the
the
social
social
pressure
pressure
we
we
have
have
with
with
us,
us,
that's
that's
also
also
hampering us.
hampering us.
We
We
have
have
kind of
kind
like
of
this
like this
always
always
thinking
thinking
negatively. Do
negatively.
you
Do you
think
think
that
that
it's
it's
okay
okay
to
to
think
think
like
like
that,
that,
or
or
maybe
maybe
we
we
should
should
switch
switch
things
things
sometime
sometime?
as well?
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right about switching our mindset. Sometimes I get into the mindset as well that like, oh, this is like really bad, or this is wanting me to do something, and like
Mm,
sometimes it's just your mind that's like the biggest panic, biggest like hurdle in it all. So maybe
yeah.
we should switch our mindset on how we can see things. Of course, it's bad, social media,
Mm.
but it's also good. Like we wouldn't have met each other, for example. So it's like really good how connections can just arise, and it's amazing.
Hmm. Okay, Grace, I just want to know one thing here because I'm quite like a productivity geek, I would say, because
Whenever
Okay.
I
I use a different kind of tools and productivity tools, like I write different kind of stuff for the social media and each and every platform. I just want to know that how did you actually write your book? Like, did you use your pen or just any writing software or anything like that? What did you use?
Ah, no, I just simply use Google Docs.
Google Docs. Okay, it's just a very simplistic software that you have used. No fancy software.
I just wrote
uh,
away there. I always use that anyway, and I just want to write as in the purest form that I can.
mhm.
So basically, how actually these things work? Do you need to like contact with the publisher after writing, or what during the writing process you can like contact them?
Yeah, I mean, during the writing process, I was wondering like what I should do, like if I wanted to get a publisher, because my other book, my first
Mm.
book, Spring 2020,
Mm.
um, is self-published. But then this one,
Okay.
I wanted it to be in book format, and I wanted a bit of
Mm.
help, so I went with a publisher, Yellow Scribe.
Yeah. So why this your book looks like yellow because of yellow scribe, or did you choose the
No, because I love yellow. Yellow is the best color ever.
okay, because honestly speaking, I was not really a fan of like yellow colors, but when I saw your book, I was like, okay, what is this?
Yeah, it's
Why
a
are you
Why are you
happy
liking
liking
this?
this?
color.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful eye. Your book cover is super, so much soothing in eyes, I would say.
Thank you so much. That's amazing.
So, Grace, do you think that we need to be be in touch with the nature as well? Like
Of
Oh,
people
for
are.
sure.
a lot of people are in today's world, like every time they're in touch with social media, laptops, phones, and whatnot. So, how important do you think it is?
I think nature is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I one of my chapters is surrounded around nature and the importance of it because we've lost touch with it. And as
Mm-hmm.
humans, we need nature to be in contact with ourselves and well as others. And it just
Mm-hmm.
brings our stress levels down, brings our stress hormones down. It balances our body and our mind, and it's been proven so. Like to take tree baths as well, to
Mm.
literally just go and walk in the forest will make you feel so much better than being out with the city life. We all
Mm.
need nature.
Do you think it's practical, like for us to be in the nature, because sometimes we don't have access to it, like nearby we can't. Sometimes we don't get time, or maybe we make excuse that we don't have time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we can make excuses, but we cannot make an excuse for nature. It should be our best friend. I always think like
uh,
when I'm feeling bad, I will just go into nature and it will just help me straight away.
Okay.
So, one thing I would want to say about like nature is that because we live in the cities and sometimes whenever we go to, yeah, but especially in this pandemic we don't go out that much, and I think it's important that you find a nearby park or something like that where you can like roam around. So I think it's really important. Yeah.
Of course, it's really important. And the good thing is there are these parks, these parks
Mm-hmm.
are accessible. We just have to find them,
Yeah.
especially in the cities, like in Berlin as well. There's quite a lot of parks that we can go to.
Mm-hmm. So
So
where do
where
you
do you
live
live
right
right
now?
now?
Well, I was living in Berlin, but I'm just living in
Uh-huh.
the south of Germany at the moment with my dad until I get fully 100% better.
Okay.
So you keep changing countries.
I know, it's crazy. I say that in the book as well. I'm just always going around living out a suitcase.
So do you like so do you like this kind of lifestyle? Like so many people just want to leave this kind of lifestyle, I would say. So do you like
Yeah,
it?
I think so too. I think it's very freeing, but it can be stressful because you have to find a place to live and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, does it help? Like, as a person, does it change you or anything like that if you change, or you just be the same person always?
I mean, you're the same person, but I think maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
much more free and relaxed because, well, not maybe relaxed because it's a stressful thing to look for a place
Mm.
to live, but it makes you more open to challenges, let's say,
Okay.
you know?
Uh,
So, is there any connection between yoga and meditation? I'm just curious to know.
Yeah, of course. Well, I guess yoga and meditation both take the breath. So the
mm-hmm.
breath is like the key tool in both of them. And when you continue with the breath in both of them, you become more present, right? So
Mm.
that's like maybe the central area that they're very similar because it's all about the breath.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so you're saying that it's all
it's all
about the
about the
breath,
breath,
right?
right?
So
So
you because
because
in
in
meditation,
meditation,
what
what
we
we
actually
actually
basically do
basically
is
do is
like
like
focus on the
focus on the
breath.
breath.
Mostly,
Mostly,
what
what
that's
Exactly.
what
that's
I
what I
do.
do.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
Yeah. Just focus on the breath.
yeah,
I just focus on the breath. So, how easy it is to like integrate yoga in our life? Because I don't do any kind of like even I do simple exercises sometimes, just push ups, so nothing else. So, how easy it is to like integrate this in our lifestyle?
someone
I
wants
would
to.
say it's quite, yeah, I would say it's quite easy to integrate into your life. Yeah, you just have to maybe, I mean, you don't have to necessarily do it in the morning. You can also do it in the evening. That's a good thing about it. There's different types of
Mm,
yoga for different parts of the day. And I would start off with like taking classes, like I do. I teach classes, and then you get into it yourself, um, easier.
okay. So, yeah, Grace,
Grace,
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
just
just
want to
want to
know
know
that
that
do you
do you
think
think
that
that
you
you
doing
doing
yoga
yoga
makes
makes
you
you
productive?
productive?
Because
Because
I
I
just
just
want to
want
be
to be
productive
productive
because I
because I
feel
feel
so
so
much
much
lethargic
lethargic
at the
at the
evening,
evening.
I
I
would
would
say.
say.
So,
So
is this going to help me if I just
Well, firstly, you don't always have to be productive, so don't worry about that.
yeah,
I think we're
that's
in like
correct.
a society that's like
Mm,
always telling us to be productive, but don't worry, you can also chill out and cheer up. Chill out
yeah,
and cheer up.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
your
your
But
book.
book.
yeah, I just wanted to put that in there.
That's smart.
But like I always just say it anyway, as a phrase. But
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely. I think it probably will help you because it helps with mental concentration and
Hmm.
focus. So it could help you with productivity as well, for sure.
So, do you think like having friends in your life help in this kind of journey, like whenever you are healing somewhere, or
You
can
can
you
do
do
Yeah,
it.
it by yourself?
yeah, friends always help. I mean, it's a healthy balance of solitude and being
Mhm.
social, right? We're only human beings, so we thrive off being with each other. And when we're alone too much, it's not good for us.
Mm.
But again, it's like getting that balance.
Sometimes what really happens is like in my case, I'm saying that I'm not really comfortable sharing stuff with like people. Sometimes if it is so much personal. So do you think that in that case you can't really go and reach out to a friend always because you don't maybe you're not like comfortable sharing some stuff. So is there any way to like self heal yourself?
right? So I'm just
Well, firstly, I'd say don't be scared to share. Like,
mm,
definitely not. Like, especially what I've just been through on a personal level.
mm,
I've shared with all my family and friends how I'm going through it
all right.
and how I'm feeling, and like, I've just gotten the support. So, like, don't ever be scared to share. Like, you're only just going to get support from the people that love you, you know? But of
Mm,
course, you can self-heal by like taking the time to yourself and really like caring after yourself. But I would
okay.
say my definitely my advice is to never keep it in.
Mm,
So caring yourself. A lot of people, I come across a lot of people. I would say so. It's not really. I'm not talking about everyone. So a lot of people in my life, I have seen that whenever they care for themselves, they actually see it like that. They are selfish because they're loving themselves and they're taking the time to care for themselves. So do you think that is it selfishness to love ourselves?
Yeah, okay, I know where you're going for. I know where you're going to there, to be honest. Like, 'cause sometimes it can be seem egoistic, no?
mm,
But no, I think self-love is this massive thing that we need, because if we don't love ourselves, then we probably can't do anything like that much, because through self-love comes confidence and comfort and courage.
mm,
So self-love is an act of constantly showing up for yourself, right?
yeah.
Would you say as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because regarding self love, one thing I read in a book, I would say, so basically what it says that if you just keep ignoring yourself and you keep loving others, there is a time that you will go through this phase called compassion fatigue, which is basically where you don't feel anything for others and you just start getting more and more toxic. By the time you just keep giving your love to others but you are not feeling your own quota for that. So I think that's really helpful that if you need to love yourself as well. But how to get started with that actually, Grace? Because a lot of people like can't really think of like, okay, how should I love myself? What to do there?
Yeah, no, that's a good question actually, because I
Hmm.
guess like if not, we're not used to it maybe in our
Yeah.
modern society, like how do
Hmm.
you start? Well, I think you start from simple acts of love. So from like showing up for yourself, like um I don't know, like doing a class that makes you feel good, reading a book that makes you feel good, um painting your nails if you're a girl, or like doing these little acts of self-care, or like if you're a
Hmm.
guy, like doing your hair, making yourself look good but also feel good on the inside. I like that little hair flick there. Yeah, it's like these little acts of compassion, like you said about compassion, it's like also
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you want to recommend some books to our audience?
Yeah, sure, I can recommend some books. There's some really good books. Well, my favorite of
Hmm.
of all is the Bible, because
Okay.
I wouldn't say like I'm religious in a sense, but I'm a big
Ah.
believer in God, and I think
Hmm.
Psalms is like the chapter of poems, and it's beautiful. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle
Yeah.
is also a great one,
I have
to
read this
keep in
book.
the present moment. Yeah, and if you want to know more about the present moment, it really like summarizes that.
Hmm.
Walden is also a really good one, which is one of my favorites. It's about a guy that just moved into the forest in the
Hmm.
States. He just like kind of moved away from society and just writes about it, and it's so uplifting, and it makes you just want to move into the forest as well. And then Hippie, also by Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho
Ah.
is one of my favorite authors. He does like beautiful nonfiction books as well. He's always spurred me on in my writing as well, for sure. And Hippie is all about him kind of just moving around freely back in the 70s when you could do that. um, and yeah, kind of discovering himself through it, through love and life and everything like that. Yeah, they're my like top books I would recommend for sure.
Okay. So, as we are almost end of the podcast, I just want to know one thing from you, that do you have anything to tell to our audience?
Yeah, let's go with the productivity and pressure. Don't pressure yourself to be productive all the time. I think that's something that's like so embedded in our society at the moment, that
Hmm.
like sometimes it's hard to like just chill out, and I won't say the whole title. Um but
Yeah, that's
yeah, don't
amazing.
don't do it. Like it's a trap, and it can like turn you
Hmm.
into like maybe obsessive with productivity. But like, of course, it's good to be productive. Just don't like obsess over it.
Okay.
Take away the
Then
pressure.
Yeah, take away the pressure. So yeah, okay, Grace, thank you so much for being on the ImpleBooks podcast, and
Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking.
yeah, and I will put all the links of Grace on the link of the description of this video, or if you're listening to the podcast. And yeah, her book is also released. What's your book name?
Chill out and cheer up.
yes,
Yes, I really like to hear this book name from your voice. That really makes this a vibe on the book. Like
crazy, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
Yeah. So yeah, please check that from the link. And yeah, thank you so much again, Grace,
Thank
for being
you
on
for
the
having
ImpleBooks
me.
podcast.
Oh, it was great to speak to you. Have a great day still.
You too.